As we start to close out the year 2020, there is a lot of things that are on the minds of the people. One, obviously, being the infamous phrase, "You're fired," but also the fact that it has been unpredictable and we can expect this unpredictability going into 2021. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Angle Podcast WWE 2021 Prediction Show. I'm your host, Joey Karni, and on this show, we're going to be talking about the biggest things that I believe are going to happen in the year 2021 in the WWE. Now, despite 2020 being a chaotic year for the entire world, we did see some crazy, amazing, interesting things happen in the WWE. We saw the return of the Rated R superstar. We saw Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch, announce her pregnancy. We saw Roman Reigns align himself with the most evil genius there is in WWE, and that is Paul Heyman. So many things have happened this year. We can expect more of it going into 2021. Now, to start off this prediction list, we're going to go with the most obvious choice, and that is returns of major WWE superstars. Superstars like the Rated R superstar Edge, Aleister Black, Samoa Joe, Jinder Mahal, Naomi, Braun Strowman, the Viking Raiders, and the list goes on and on. There are a lot of WWE superstars on the shelf right now. We are hoping to have them back in 2021. So first on the list, big WWE returns from all superstars from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. We're going to head back over now to the NXT side of things, where I predict in 2021 we are going to see a new NXT Women's Champion in Candice Lerae. She's been on such a hot streak, now in a new faction with her husband called The Way, with Johnny Gargano, the NXT North American Champion. There's a lot of push, I guess, behind Candice LeRae. Although she has a broken arm as of right now, I hope in 2021 she will overcome that and become the NXT Women's Champion. Now, WWE's had a pretty rough year in terms of ratings. We've seen Raw decline, SmackDown kind of losing its touch, and NXT really taking a fall to AEW Weekly. So I think that there's going to be some big creative differences coming to WWE in 2021. One being the return of the King of the Ring tournament. And my prediction is we're going to see someone who very much deserves this win, who has been saying it for years now. Xavier Woods will be the one to win the 2021 WWE King of the Ring tournament. And keeping things along the lines of creative changes going on in WWE, I believe we're also going to see the return of the most anticipated WWE pay-per-view we've had in the last decade. And that is an all-women's pay-per-view, Evolution. I believe we're going to see Evolution 2 happen in 2021, bringing more excitement, bringing more creative power to the WWE. That's why I think we're going to see the return of WWE's pay-per-view, Evolution. Now, this next pick is for all those video game lovers. Yes, I'm predicting in 2021 we will have the next installment in the WWE 2K series, that being WWE 2K22. Now, although 2020 was a horrific year, to say the least, the video game scene for WWE from 2019 going into 2020, let's be honest, it was trash. WWE 2K20, 2K21, glitches, everything was outdated. WWE superstars we would love to play as were not included in the game. It was just a horrific thing. WWE Battleground, same thing, was not that great, to be honest with you. I purchased the game, not at full price, might I add, because, let's be honest, WWE fans knew going into this game it was not going to be what we wanted it to be, so they were not going to pay full price for this game. I think I paid like $20 at Walmart for it. But besides the point, WWE 2K22, I'm predicting to make a comeback, I hope, in 2021. Now, a big topic that is on the minds of everyone who is a pro wrestling fan is the Royal Rumble that is soon coming up in January 2021, and there are so many predictions as to who will win both the men's and the women's Royal Rumble match. I'm going to give you my predictions right now from the Angle Podcast. I believe Rhea Ripley will be winning the women's Royal Rumble match, and on the men's side, I believe we're going to see Limitless Keith Lee get the win in that match. We have seen some weird booking with both of them as of late. Rhea Ripley kind of winding down her booking in NXT, which leads me to believe she'll be making a main roster jump soon, hopefully around Royal Rumble time, where she, I hope, will win the Royal Rumble, go on to WrestleMania to face Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, on the men's side of things, Limitless Keith Lee. We've heard the rumors he's been sent back to the PC for more training from Vince McMahon. We've seen that in an interview with Otis. That kind of is true. So we don't really know where exactly Keith Lee will be headed soon, storyline-wise, creative-wise. But I think they're pulling him back a little bit. So when the Royal Rumble does happen, he steps in, shows the world why he is limitless, and wins the Royal Rumble to go on to face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 37. Now, although I did predict a different winner for the Women's Royal Rumble in 2021, I do still see this specific female superstar making a huge impact in WWE, but on Friday Night SmackDown, and that is Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. I think that she will hold at least one time in the year of 2021 the SmackDown Women's Championship. We see her in a great storyline now with Bayley. I think this is to kind of boost her up to the next level, to get her over as a top female superstar on SmackDown, which will ultimately lead to a match I would love to see against Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. Now, we do know the winner of the Royal Rumble obviously does get to pick their opponent for WrestleMania, but the opposing brand gets an opportunity as well, and that usually happens at Elimination Chamber in the earlier months of 2021 or earlier months in the year. But we'll see it in February, most likely, February or March of 2021, where I believe we will see Bianca Belair earn a shot for the SmackDown Women's Championship, head into WrestleMania to compete for that title, hopefully win it. But if not there, sometime in 2021, I'm predicting now, Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, to hold the SmackDown Women's Championship. There's an event that happens every year in the middle towards the May time of WWE, and that is Money in the Bank. And there's a list of contenders that can hold both the men's and the women's Money in the Bank contracts. But I'm going to predict right now that we will see Andrade capture the men's Money in the Bank contract, and on the women's side of things, we're going to see a returning Sonya Deville finally claim a decent spot in WWE and become Mrs. Money in the Bank. Now, as I've been saying this entire show, we know big creative changes are coming to WWE in 2021, and that will be most likely rearranging some superstars between the three brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Now, a big group that I think has been probably the biggest faction the WWE's seen in the last forever, I don't know how long, the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole, Bay, I hope, I predict will be making their way to Monday Night Raw in 2021 to kind of bring some extra funk to Monday Night Raw, bring the Undisputed Era to Monday Night Raw, and we'll see that show hopefully rise in the ratings. But I'm predicting 2021, Monday Night Raw becomes undisputed. Next on the list, I believe in 2021, I'm predicting and I'm hoping when we see the return of the Messiah, the Friday Night Savior, sort of say, Seth freaking Rollins. He is going to come back bigger, badder, better than ever, and as a babyface. I'm predicting it now. In 2021, we're going to see the return of Seth Rollins as a babyface on the SmackDown brand. Now, a few weeks back, I did have the opportunity to sit down for an interview with the Cowboy James Storm, who, by the way, right now is a free agent. He did say he signed with WWE back in February of 2020, but because of the COVID pandemic, a lot of people were laid off. A lot of people were put on a very not great list. He was one of those superstars who did not even get to make his debut for the Monday Night Raw brand, which he was supposed to do in or after WrestleMania 36 this year. We spoke about him returning to WWE. He hopes to come back. I hope he does. I believe in 2020 or 2021 he will be back signed full-time with the WWE, hopefully on the Monday Night Raw brand. But if he does go on SmackDown, well, we also did discuss how his former tag team partner, Bobby Roode, now known as Robert Roode, is on that brand. and how he would love to reform Beer Money, possibly adding Dolph Ziggler, making it a faction, but together, Robert Roode, James Storm, Beer Money. They did make over $1 million in merch sales in TNA or Impact Wrestling. He said he wants to do the same thing in WWE. He knows for a fact they would sell a lot of merch. But I think I'm going to say it right now. I predict in 2021 we're going to see the return of the Cowboy James Storm in WWE, but also reforming his illustrious group or illustrious tag team with Robert Roode, Beer Money. Now, as we start to wind down the list for my predictions for WWE in 2021, there is a match, or at least two matches, that we can say can be the main event of WrestleMania this year, or in 2021 next year. And that is Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against one of two competitors. Now, we've read the story, we've read the spoilers, and we read all the dirt sheets, and everybody who says Goldberg will be returning to face Roman Reigns. But there's another option, an electrifying option, keeping it in the family. We could possibly see The Rock return to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. But the only thing holding that back from happening is a live crowd. The Rock is not going to come back. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, he's not going to come back to a crowd or to no crowd. He is not going to do it. He is the people's champion, the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment. He is going to come back to a crowd. So if there is no crowd at WrestleMania 37, I believe we're going to see Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. But if there are fans, if we can have some fans at WrestleMania 37, we're going to see Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, although I have predicted Keith Lee to win the men's 2021 Royal Rumble match, I do believe we're going to see someone else have a big moment in WWE in 2021, and that is Big E. Yes, I believe he is going to somehow, some way, not at WrestleMania, but he will capture his first WWE Universal Championship in 2021, either against Roman Reigns or whoever takes the title off of Roman. Maybe even it is Big E in 2021. But I think sometime we're going to see Big E capture the Universal Championship in WWE year 2021. Now, there are two people in WWE today that I feel should be a tag team and could be one of the most over tag teams in the history of WWE Tag Team Wrestling. That is Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, better known as the Iconics, formerly known as the Iconics. They are drowning on their own in singles competition. We've seen the two of them in legit storylines. Awesome matches in the ring. Awesome storylines with Sasha Banks and Bayley and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. We saw them come apart. WWE creative differences. I don't know what happened there. But they are drowning as singles competitors. We've seen the most over tag team in the women's division taken apart in order just to be put back in another tag team storyline. Billie Kay, week in and week out, trying to find a new tag team partner, losing matches. We've seen Peyton Royce now aligned with Lacey Evans, who, by the way, should be by herself in the women's division, a future women's champion. I think in 2021, WWE is going to come to their senses, hopefully, at least in this situation, and put the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, back together, giving us one of the most entertaining tag teams that we have in WWE today, the Iconics. Then we're going to head back to the NXT side of things, where I believe in 2021, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne will capture the NXT World Championship. He's been in matches contending for that title. I think it's about time we see the Bruiserweight kind of step up back into the main event picture in NXT. We saw it happen, NXT UK. He held the NXT UK Heavyweight Championship for quite some time, and I think it's going to happen again in 2021, but on the NXT side of things, Pete Dunne, I'm predicting to become the next, or one of the NXT champions in 2021. Next on the Angle Podcast WWE 2021 predictions list, we have the duo of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, better known as the Riott Squad. I predict they are going to become the women's tag team champions in 2021. This is a team that has really been through the ringer as singles competitors, as a tag team, losing Sarah Logan, coming back together as the Riott Squad, And honestly, they are the most legit tag team in the women's tag team division in WWE. So there is no one else I would rather have to see, pick to be the women's tag team champions in 2021. The Riott Squad, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan becoming the women's tag team champions. Now, the biggest prediction I have for 2021 is one that most people will probably be surprised about because they don't really care for. But I think it's a big thing to happen, that needs to happen, and that is someone returning to WWE, re-signing on the dotted line for WWE, Brock Lesnar. I'm predicting in 2021 we're going to see former WWE champion, former Universal champion, NCAA, UFC heavyweight champion. This guy is all around one of the best ever. Brock Lesnar, I'm predicting in 2021 to return to the WWE to kind of help the ratings, the ratings issues they're having and all the other issues we know WWE is having. So I'm predicting Brock Lesnar returning to WWE in 2021. Now, after all these predictions I just made, I got myself a little hyped up. I'm sweating a little bit. My adrenaline's going. I'm excited to see what happens in 2021 for WWE. There are a lot of predictions. A lot of things can happen, especially with all the creative differences, creative changes we know are coming to WWE. I'm excited for 2021. And I know this year has been not the best year. Probably one of the worst years in the history of years. But we need to stay positive. We need to keep going. We need to keep pushing forward, looking to the light at the end of the tunnel. And that is like everything I just said in this special to see happen in WWE 21. I want to thank you for watching this video. And for people who really helped give these predictions. I put out a tweet a few weeks ago asking people what they would want to see happen in WWE in the year 2021, some predictions. And some of these really did come from fans who do want to see this happen. So I hope you're excited for it. I'm excited for it. I want to wish you and your families a safe and happy holiday season. There are so many more interviews, so many more specials coming your way in 2021. So much more exciting content in the works for the Angle Podcast. I'm excited all for it. I hope you are too for coming on this journey. Again, I want to wish you and your family a happy holiday season, safe and healthy holiday season. If you haven't already, like and subscribe down below to the Angle Podcast. Follow me on Twitter at The Angle Radio, on all social media platforms at The Angle Radio. Happy holidays, and we will see you in 2021.